Before we get back to the phones, I want to go back to our first caller in the last hour, the tail end of the previous hour. You remember him. He was just frustrated as he could be. Watched this thing last night, and I could tell by the nature of his comments that he was young, which is good. He can't believe what he was hearing. He literally can't believe there are still people in a dominant major political party talking about all of these things like they were talking about last night, which are demonstrated failures. They do not work. They do not help people. They do not revive a country. They don't do anything. And yet here they are talking about it and doing even more of it. And he was beside himself. He can't find any pushback anywhere today. He goes, the media can't find, he doesn't understand it. And I'll tell you why that is. And this is a very, very important point here, folks. And I'm sorry to sound like a broken record on it, but the reason our opening caller, and I'm sure he echoed what many of you think, it wasn't that long ago that you could count on the Republican Party to last night be all over TV nuking that stuff. Either Republican presidential candidates or party leaders or elected Republicans would be all over, and the media would love to talk to them, and they would be nuking everything the Democrats said. They would be engaging in pushback. They would be attempting to put it in context and to disqualify it and to expose it for what it is, as just runaway, irresponsible socialism, which hasn't worked anywhere. And then they would contrast that with what they believe, or what we believe. And the American people watching news media last night, and the same thing would happen today, there would be some pushback on it. There would be some people with credibility who would be explaining why what you heard last night was absolutely irresponsible, juvenile, whatever else. But there hasn't been any of that. And so you, who have that very reaction to what you heard last night, you don't see anybody in politics representing what you believe. The Republican Party is not out fighting this stuff. And the reason that they're not, we know this. The Republican establishment believes that to do so would be to endanger their support from independents. And I'm not trying to be funny, and I'm not cracking a joke. They really do believe it. It's why they don't oppose Obama. The fallback is, well, we don't have enough votes to override a veto. So people say, well, why don't you at least fight back? No, because that would anger the independents. They really believe this stuff inside the Beltway, in the Washington establishment, in the Republican section of it. They really believe. Mitt Romney won the independents in droves and lost the election. They're election cycles behind reality. At the Republican establishment, these moderates, establishment types, it's the most frustrating thing. So the bottom line is, you have to wait until today and turn on the radio to hear any responsible opposition pushback and putting what you heard in proper context. And you're not hearing it from people you can vote for. So it's understandable you'd be frustrated as get out. I'm with you. I totally understand. There's been a big change in the 27 years I've been behind this microphone. In the first 10, 15 years, the Republican Party was pushing back every minute of every day. And now they've been scared into silence. Issue after issue after issue. So that's why you watched this last night and you my God, I'm hearing any reaction. Do you really believe this crazy stuff? My God. I understand the incredulity that you're feeling. Anyway, back to the phones. This is Mike. Oh, we had a guy who dropped off. He was from Denver. I wish he hadn't dropped off. He's going to tell me that I was all wrong, that Hillary is not going to be the nominee because Democrat voters, particularly young Democrat voters, they don't want anything to do with Hillary. They are in love with Bernie Sanders, and they're going to make him the nominee. And this guy dropped off. I don't know if he ran out of time or what, but I would have liked to have talked to him. In the meantime, here's Mike in, put my glasses on, Finksburg, Maryland. Mike, hi. Great to have you here.
Thank you, Professor. I appreciate you taking my call.
You bet.
I'll make it short and sweet and right to the point. I've been a student since 1989, and I'm going to put forth my my plan. We've been given a golden opportunity, not for Republicans, but for conservatives. We heard it all last night, and it's short and sweet. First, the economy. Simple. Lower taxes for all businesses, large and small. They want to talk about gun violence. We attack gun violence like we attacked drunk driving 30 years ago. We didn't go after GM and Ford. We went after the guys that were killing people on the road, and it worked. Third, the border. Seal the border. Use the laws we already have. We don't have to add one law. They're there. They're on the books. They just need to be used. And that's the start. But just go straight down the line.
Yeah, well, who's going to do that?
Give people the we're the party of producers.
Mike, who's going to do all that?
I'm waiting to hear. I've been waiting for a long time. I've been holding my nose and
look. I know this. You're echoing the frustration of the first caller. The answer to this stuff that we heard last night is first grade easy. It is first grade fundamental Dick and Jane C-spot run easy. This stuff that we heard last night can be obliterated. It can be nuked in one busy broadcast news day. Haven't heard anybody on our side say anything about it last night, other than echo how well Hillary did. Even commentators on the right have fallen into the trap of analyzing what happened last night on the basis of how well did Hillary do. Not what the hell folly did she say, but how did she do? Oh, man, she looked formidable last night. Oh, man, the Republicans are going to have to work on it. We have had, Mike, the point is, you're right. We've had, for 7 years, the greatest opportunity of my lifetime to contrast what we believe with what liberalism is. We don't even have to speak about it in theory. We don't have to go to people and say, look, if you elect Democrats, let me tell you what's going to happen. A, B, C, D, and E. It is happening. We don't have to wait for it to happen. We don't have to present theory and then be patient while we're proven right. We're in the middle of it. All we have to do to point out to people, what you heard last night, it's exactly what has happened the last 7 years. And where are we? Everything you heard last night that they want to do more of is what we're already doing. And we've already got 94 million Americans not working. Who do you think is running health care that nobody has? Who do you think is running immigration that you think is all screwed? Who has been in charge the last 7 years? This is the thing about last night that boggles my mind the most is these people get up there after being in charge for 7 years and get to act like a Republican is still in office and like we are still in Iraq and like we are still losing in Iraq. It's as though Barack Obama has not been president other than when they need to praise Obama to be loyal Democrats. But other than that, if you just landed from Mars last night, you would think the Republican Party's been in charge and has been totally inept and irresponsible and is in the process of ruining this country and that we need to act fast. We need to give everybody health care. We need to punish the banks. We need to get rid of oil. We need to save the planet because it's on the way to becoming uninhabitable. Who is failing to fix all these problems the past 7 years? I mean, I think it was even O'Malley in his opening statement said, well, you know what? I can't be critical of what's happened the last 7 years, but I must tell you that we haven't gone nearly far enough. So he even had to tantamount admit that they haven't advanced the leftist agenda nearly as much as a lot of people want. But certainly you cannot find any Republican fingerprints on any of the messes that are being made or have been made in this country. That's why, 7 years? And these people list these complaints like they're out of power? Is that right? I had not heard that. You're not kidding me. Trump praised Hillary's performance too? No, that didn't happen. You making that up. Okay, I've got to find it. See, that's Donald Trump ought to be out there today He should have been out on the morning shows. He should have been tweeting last week. He was tweeting, live tweeting it. He should have been on the morning shows mocking what happened last night. Not the people, mocking what they said, mocking their policy. He should have been tearing it down statement by statement, issue by issue. First thing, we can't afford any of it. We're already $18 trillion in debt. We have spent $18 trillion we don't have trying to do everything these people last night say they want to do. Spending money obviously is not the way to do this. You want everybody to have health care? Ain't the way to do it. You want everybody to have health insurance? Whatever they're doing the last 7 years, not the way to do it. You want to end poverty? Sorry. The way we've been doing it since 1964 isn't working. And spending more money isn't going to work. This stuff needs to be torn down statement by statement, candidate by candidate. From Bernie Sanders and what he was saying about the banks, this stupid climate change stuff, somebody's got to push back on this stuff. But if everybody's going to run around and talk about how well Hillary did, sorry, folks, I don't know how you marshal in the opposition to it. What are you going to gain by going out and praising Hillary? You're going to get a Democrat to leave Hillary and vote for you because you go praise Hillary? Any Republican, I don't mean just Trump, anybody. What's the point? You got to get over this idea that the Republican Party is hated by over half the country. And to get back in their good graces, you got to be nice to Democrats. It's another giant trick the Democrats and the media have concocted that every Republican that's elected seems to have fallen for. And I remember, I was alive during the 80s, and I was an adult in the 80s. And I remember, Alan Cranston and these guys that go out like Bernie Sanders last night, brought up once again that Republicans want to cut Social Security and leave senior citizens penniless. Well, back when Alan Cranston would make a statement like that back in the 1980s, somebody in the Republican Party would be on TV the next day laughing about it, mocking it, ridiculing it, and pointing out how it isn't so, and asking, is that the best you've got? You have to ask yourself, why do these Democrat complaints work after 30 years? How do they keep getting away with Republicans want to cut Social Security for 30 years? Now, they may not be getting away with that. The seasoned citizen vote has been tending Republican for quite a while. And I think the reason why is seasoned citizens have figured out all these years the Democrats have been predicting that the Republicans are going to take their Social Security away. It never happens. And so the seasoned citizens at some point realize that it's a phony and false fear, and they don't have to worry about it. But the things that were said on that stage last night, I'm telling you, are first grade easy to blow up. And they deserve to be blown up. It's easy. Everything these people said. You want me to summarize this again? Let me summarize it for you real quickly, ladies and gentlemen. Elect the Democrats, we're going to higher taxes. When's that solved anything? We've been raising taxes, lowering taxes, highest tax rates, still got problems, right? We're going to make sure the borders stay open. I even heard one of the candidates last night said this is how you raise wages in America, is flood the market with all these illegals. Really? The law of supply and demand alone disproves that. 94 million Americans not working